What it means to me is I can get company with other men, and I can do that twice a week. I'm a widower, spend a lot of time on my own. I was in and had an operation on the Western in January this year, and my daughter says to me when I got home, she says, "Dad," she says, "I've noticed a difference since you come home." She says, "You've seemed to withdrawn again." She says, "What's wrong?" I said, "We had the company of the men in the ward and we had a laugh and a giggle, and that's what this means to me. Okay? You get in, you have a chat, you can have a swear together, you know."
Come along and I'll show you some of the work it's doing with the guys. As you can see, some of the guys are busy involved. Andy's a painter and he's refurbishing a unit, and Tom's been in the other room, which I'll show you later, which he's been painting. Bill and Jimmy have been involved in bird boxes, again, which I'll show you there. And principally though, I need you to have a look at this over here. But this originally was a stage, and the council were going to throw it out, and we asked when we'd met if we could use it, and we did. We took the 6 parts, we stripped it. I didn't have any backs in it. We put backs in it, we put shelves in it, and as you can see, we've utilised it for ourselves, and I think that's quite important. It took us about 6 weeks, but the guys loved it, and everybody got involved in it. The doors, they were on, they were off, the doors were on, the doors were off, but eventually we got it right. And then the sad part about it is that we have to put padlocks on it so that we make sure that nothing disappears, because there's other groups use this hall, and one of the important things about it is safety. And actually inside one of the cupboards we have our health and safety policy, our general safety rules, and safety first, DIY second. That's extremely important. It's a risk assessment, and that was done by a council worker in consultation with us, and then it was all printed up and it was seen by the health and safety and duly signed off. Also important is a first aid box and accident book. It's that when anybody's starting up a shed on any project, that this, and along with the other ones that I showed you, are given a priority, because that way you're keeping yourself right in a legal sense. Not everybody that comes here is fit and able. Some of the guys have maybe recovering from strokes, or some of the guys have got depression even. The thing is, we don't differentiate, but we have to know a kind of bit about the medical background, so that if anything happens to them, or if we have to phone an ambulance, or have to get in contact with a doctor, we can give them some information. And the guys have been pretty good about that. All the information they give us is confidential to us. We don't share it with everybody, and it's also for the Data Protection Act and things like that. This is a council building, and because it's a council building, we also have to be aware of the fact that it's not our property, and as such we have to take care to make sure that things are covered, and as you can see on the table there, to make sure that the tables are not marked. But the council are bound to have property somewhere that is maybe not used anymore. As an example, where they're closing down libraries, etc. You know, and it might be that an approach could be made. The council themselves are extremely enthusiastic about things for retired members and ageing well, as they call it in East Lothian. And there's so many different projects going on. So we're fortunate that we've got this. Okay, we have to pay for it, but at the end of the day, it serves a terrific purpose. And we've been lucky in respect that the local community has donated a lot of tools. Words got round, and folk have said, "Oh well," on one occasion where her husband had died, and the shed had never been looked at for about a year, and she phoned up and says, "Look, just take what you want." And I went up and emptied her shed, more or less. Where that painting is at the moment, that was a gaping big hole. But one of our guys is a plasterer, and he came in and plastered it all up. And Tom, who you met earlier, has just gave it a base coat at the moment. Eventually it will all be painted, and kind of tidied away a bit. As you can see, we have a lot of wood, and that's been donated and picked up as well. We've been along the beach and picked up driftwood that we can use. And some of the guys have been good enough to hand in paint for the walls, and some of them have been working on the bird boxes. The RSPB have asked us to do bird boxes and owl boxes. Okay? Yeah. After we finished the projects with the cupboards, we decided that we had plenty of wood spare, wood out of my garden by the way, that was broken up, and we decided to make planters because we felt that the front of the hall is very unwelcoming. The vice chairman of the community council is heavily involved in horticulture and often judges at flower shows, etc. So we decided to make planters, and with the planters we decided we'll donate them to the community council, and they've seen them and they're absolutely delighted with them. And I always make a point of welcoming everybody as they come in, and then they just disappear in their stations and they work away. And tea and coffee and biscuits always provided, and that again gels, because at some point we always have a meeting. Top tip, make sure your premises are suitable and make sure that your guys can gel together, because it's no good having somebody standing over there wondering what they're going to do and you've got other guys working away. You have to make sure that they're all introduced to each other and they all gel together. So make sure you have a good group and you work well together.
Come down, have a cup of tea and a blather with the boys and do some practicals. So that's it, yeah.
You enjoy that?
Aye, quite. Well, it saves me mucking up, so I can't get in my garage to do anything anyway. And I used to have a sports car that I worked on, but I had to give that up when I got my knee done because I couldn't get into it.
Right, yes.
So this is just a way of occupying my time, and as I say, if you can spend it with friends and get a bit of a laugh and whatever. Folk didn't reckon I would be able to retire, but I came to it quite easy.
And you fill in your time with it.
Oh, aye, that's right. I do have other organisations that take up night time as well, like. Yeah.
I was in the office obviously and doing drop-in, because we do drop-in because it's a volunteer centre, and an elderly gentleman came along with his wife looking for something to do, and he had been involved in a shed in Kendal set up by Age UK about 3 or 4 years ago, and he wanted to know if we had a shed, and obviously it was fun because I was thinking sheds, we've got loads of sheds, but Brian explaining it was a community shed where guys would come along when they were retired and they'd work together on projects, and I thought this is a fantastic idea. It made me smile, it made everybody in the office smile, and we thought this is a winner. And how we went about it was basically a lot of travelling around East Lothian. We made flyers, we distributed them far and wide to barbers, where men would go, doctors' surgeries, libraries, shops, just anywhere we could think of really. And obviously the press, we did a press release, Brian and I standing in front of his shed at Gifford, getting our photographs taken to go in, and he was saying, oh no, I don't want to get my photograph taken, but it was fun. And then we got in the papers, and we went on the radio. Well, I went on the radio, Macmerry. But really we just tried to talk to as many people as we can about sheds, and everybody was keen to listen because, like us, it made them smile.
Yeah, the one problem that Leslie had was the lack of venue. So I sort of said, well, I can help with that, working with the council, local authority. There's venues out there that aren't being used. So why don't we look into which ones aren't being used that are in a good area that's sort of central to East Lothian there. So that's how we kind of came to Macmerry Village Hall, because it was central, it was being underused, it was a good open space with the kitchen and toilet, which is always important for teas and coffees and kind of,
See, people said to me, where is your shed? And there was no shed. We decided to have an open day to show them what is a shed. Although we could chat about it's a community thing, we work on projects, blah blah blah, it's not the same as actually seeing the space. We just set up a storyboard saying what sheds are and paper copies of all sorts of things.
So we had things like the manual there.
Yeah.
We had just kind of posters and pictures, I think, from across the world. It's like, you know, sheds in Australia, with sheds in England and Ireland, just giving the guys an example of what a shed could look like, or in many different forms.
And 4 guys turned up, but surprisingly, we chose this as a venue for an open day, and surprisingly they said, well, can we come next week? Which we were completely unprepared for.
Like, maybe, hang on.
And it shocked us, because it was like, we were using it as a venue to showcase what a shed could be, but in fact, it turned out to be the shed.
The shed, yeah. I mean, we got, the guys were like, can we come back again this next week? We're like, well, we need to check, we need to book it first. And then we went away thinking, well, what can we do with them next week? Or what can we do with them when they come back? What would be the next step? So it gave us the sort of nucleus of the first sort of 4 to 6 men that came along to start the shed off. So.
Yeah. And as David said, we got our Australian shed manual out, which every shed should have, and went to page 25, men are here. What to do now with men? And that,
make them
and
a cup of tea, number 1.
Page 26, set up steering group. Page 27, get your welcome forms done. And obviously, honestly, I know it sounds a bit bizarre, but that's what we have basically done, is worked our way through the pages. And as things have gone along, the guys have come along with their own ideas. We've stuck to the manual, but we haven't, because obviously every shed is completely different, and it depends on the men themselves. They are first and foremost, we'd get round the table and we'd say, right, okay, we're at week 4 or we're at week 5. Where do you want to go now? What should we be doing? And
it's got to the point now where, you know, it doesn't matter if we're not here, because things are still going to happen. The supervisors are now in a place where they know they can look after it, and it's been really good. It means we can go and promote it more, and so, you know, advertise it, update the Facebook pages, and sort of, you know, get word out and about the project and how successful it's been.
And as David said, we've run Facebook, Twitter, just making sure that people know who we are and what we do. We are planning on, we are making things now, bird boxes, which we saw at Kendal, and we're hoping to do some craft fairs and take things out, and that way will be a way of A, the guys getting out into the community, and B, maybe selling for small amounts of money back to the shed. But I think communication is key, because if people feel involved, they feel it really matters to them, and therefore they will keep it going when we're not here.
So my top tip would be, don't be afraid to do it your own way, but use the manual as backup. So you can refer to the manual as much as you want, but it's your shed, and it's the men's, most importantly, it's the men's shed. So let the men guide you on where they want to go.
And that's what it's all about. It's about working together and working as a group and building an enthusiasm. We've got this twice a week, and some of the guys out there will tell you that they're grateful for it, because it makes them get up and do something. So, personally, I'm just absolutely delighted and grateful for the involvement of Age Scotland, and I think their help in awarding a grant is going to go a long way, and otherwise we would have been toiling trying to work a financial package for a year. And the fact that we got a grant of some £4,000 has been absolutely terrific. It's going to do so much for the guys here and for the actual men's shed itself. So I can only say thank you very much on behalf of the guys.
My ancient skills are being discovered again, and showing the guys how to, you know, help them out, making nest boxes, using my knowledge to do things. So that's brilliant. So you feel useful, and you feel that you're contributing, and that's what it means to me.